Hello traders, welcome to the post-session review. Today is Tuesday, August 13th, and I'm really excited for tomorrow's live stream. I want to cover today the intraday, and I want to cover the longer term trade a little bit, and then tell you where I am next looking for a trade on the longer term in case you guys want to, hop on or do anything along those lines. For the sake of transparency, this is the real account. $330 gain. We had two trades, one break even, which actually gave about 3 points, and the other one was a 63-point winner, which netted $330. So we captured 330 here. Our balance is 31.4251, 31.4251, and we're into day 16 of this account, and it's been a very rocky road here from the beginning. We've been playing, I guess the market and I have been slapping each other around. My goal is to hit harder and get out of this so we can back to the mission at hand, which is to grow this account. We're going to keep following our rules. We're going to keep applying our money management, and that's what's going to allow us to overcome this. We're not going to allow emotion to interfere with our trading. We're going to follow our rules as best we can, even though sometimes it may be a little difficult to do that. But we are going to stay on top of it. We're going to press on, and we're going to win. Now let me minimize this. Let me minimize this, and let me bring in the longer term in first. As you all know, this was a Gartley pattern that completed. Got short here on Sunday evening, and price started moving in favor really nicely. The pattern's rules are that we get to a break even at the 38%, and then the take profit was is down here around the 618. This is a massive pattern, massive range. I was in with 300 contracts, so once I got to the break even, I secured the break even, and my goal was to lock in half of the distance, which is a part of my rule set when the range is so big, to preserve some of that profit. There's no sense letting 700 plus thousand in profit to slip away like that on the break even. But as price showed good momentum and good projection on the shorter term order flow, as price continued on down, I felt compelled to lock in behind structure. As you can see, I was locked in here, and I was looking for price to come down past the 50% so I can lock into the 38, and then I was going to let the market run until the target of the pattern was triggered, and then I was going to trail aggressively. But the buyers really came in today in the early morning hours, in the early New York session, and really took this market for a spin, and I got triggered here. So took 333 points of profit on the 300 contracts, which was a little over 500k, and that's a really good outcome for this trade. I'm glad I managed it somewhat aggressively, and was a little more aggressive in trailing on the structure. Otherwise I would have had considerably less profit, since I would have locked in half the distance between the 38 and the entry. But it worked out. Bended the rule a little bit, and it's hard to follow the rules even for me when there's that much money at stake. But we do the best we can within our strength and weaknesses, right? But overall, good trade and good outcome. I'm very happy with the way things worked out. I do have a ABCD pattern that completes into this area up here. There's not the best structure across the way, but there is some structure. I would be interested in shorting this area up here. I'm not going to look for a short anymore down here. The buyers really came in. The sellers are spending a lot of money here, and prices just really not dropping. I expect this area to be challenged again and possibly fail. I expect this pattern to overall possibly fail, and I will be happy to look for short up here, as we will have ratio and harmonic exhaustion there. All very nice combination. It would be a 3 drives pattern to the upside, all of which should lead towards a really nice and possible deep correction on the overall order flow. So that's what I'm looking for. Hopefully we'll get there soon. Hopefully we'll participate during the live stream tomorrow if it gives us an opportunity and price is there. If not, we'll keep monitoring it, and I'll let you guys know when I'm thinking about getting in, and specifically around what price level. But we're not going to worry about those things now. Price still has a ways to go before it gets there, and we'll keep a close eye on that one. On the intraday, things were very challenging. They're very challenging. Immediately, shortly after the market opened, let me scroll down here. We see that the market was fighting in here, and price really rallied at the open here, and it really didn't come back to have a proper correction here, nor here, nor and here it did, but only on this shorter term order flow here. So I was considering not trading at all, because the way the account is right now, there really is no way that I can justify taking a trade down here, putting the stop where it would have to be. We haven't had a proper correction yet. So what I decided to do is I decided to pay close attention to the shorter term order flow, the more immediate order flow, and see if that can help me find some really low risk entries. And I decided to do that. So moving forward, price, let me fatten the chart up a little bit here. All right, so I had this, even on this, we had a really massive swing here, and price did achieve a proper correction on that. So I was happy. I'm like, okay, at least something has qualified. Now let me move forward with this and see what happens. So as price started coming up here, I see that the sellers had sporadic interest in coming in. I saw that they have not been able to correct overall. This overall was a shallow correction, barely qualifying at all. So I felt good about the buyers wanting to continue to take price higher. After all, every time the sellers come in, the buyers come in to reabsorb. Sellers come in, the buyers come in to absorb. Sellers come in, buyers come in to absorb. So the buyers were really serious about continuing to take price higher. Okay, so as the sellers came in here and price came down into, an area where the buyers had been active, I saw the rotation there, and I took the long. It wasn't a great rotation because the price did trade lower below its open, but I did see absorption there, and I felt confident in taking the trade up. My stop was right around here, which was not small, but I felt good about the buyer's overall health. And as price came back up here to these highs, it triggered for me to get to a break even, and the sellers came in to take me out at a break even. So that was a 3-point winner. And then as price came through, one of the things that I realized was that, not only did price make a very weak new structure high, okay, but this was the higher low here from that, and then we had another higher low here from that as well. So we had price come, the buyers tried to come in here and fail. They got reabsorbed, and then the market just came back, took out level one, took out another level here. So it took 2 levels of structures that should have held on the buying side. So I said, okay, that's not good for the buyers. So I needed to tell myself, okay, so now I'm either looking for shorts, or are we going to get an overall proper correction with a swing back to the upside? Okay, now I saw the buyers were committed up here. Okay, they did try to fight up here, which is unusual in the market. That maybe exhaustion. They had a humongous, very quick, very bullish run to test these highs again. And we see the buyers are still engaged in trying to absorb. We see that here, here, all over this area here. We see the buyers trying to absorb here, 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 which is unprecedented when you have just a huge move up like that. Usually there's exhaustion, and then price is able to, the sellers are able to come in and move price. But the fact that they were committed to still wanting to buy up here told me that the buyers were not finished. But I needed to find something. I needed to find confluence, right? Because that's what we're about. Finding confluence, putting those roadblocks ahead of price gives us an opportunity to to find good entries with really low risk. So as price came down here to this area, and price did not have a rotation here. Let me get rid of this fib. Okay, price did come up, okay, and achieve the proper correction. Okay, so now we're like, okay, now I have something that I can, from a harmonic standpoint, I have a main swing that I can draw, right? Because we had the expectation failure in 2 levels, so this is a new structural low expectation. Price did not correct. This was my area of interest to get short. This is where I was interested in taking on the risk. I wasn't definitely going to take on the risk after this rotation here, okay? So this one was a no-go for me. Remember, we have a small account that's in a little bit of trouble, and we need to not filter our trades, but we need to make sure the trade comes to our area of interest. And off of an expectation failure, where these candles are small, they're small because those are buyers mixed in there. I expected price to have a deeper correction, and this is the area where I saw the sellers really coming in to make a difference and to beat the buyers. So I did not get the area of interest entry that I wanted to. I definitely wasn't going to take a second trade here. So my next opportunity was, okay, I see the buyers are still fighting like hell, but they haven't been able to create enough of an imbalance to take price up. So I'm looking at an ABCD to the downside, and I'm looking to enter at that D point, okay, on a rotation. Do I have structure in that area? Yes, I do. I have structure slightly above it, and down here as well, further across on the larger time on the 1597. You can see that there's stronger structure to the left. In the interest of time, and that is late here, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to move forward here. And as price came down, okay, and came in here, okay, into our area here, now this pattern had completed. So now it's important for me to what? To look for that entry long, okay? And we're not going to discriminate, okay? The only thing that I did not really like is that, well, there's 2 things that I liked and 2 things that I didn't like, okay? We also have here, hang on, let me draw another see how I want to do this. Okay, we'll do it like this. Okay, remember we talked about drawing harmonics, right? We had a proper correction from there. We also had a proper correction from here on an even larger swing, right? So those are all things that we can use to project forward, okay? And that's where this one completes. So I knew at the very least my stop had to be below this. It had to be below the structure level here, okay? Because the market may be working towards this. There's good momentum here, right? Scary momentum, but we're not here to filter our trades. We're not here to say, this looks like a possible expectation failure. This looks like this is not going to work out. That's not our role. Our role is to take the trades that are in our trade plan, okay? And these D entries, okay, in a market that is so bullish, where the buyers are still willing to absorb up here and fight like hell here, okay, it tells me that at that next level of support, wherever there is a harmonic completion, wherever there is ratio exhaustion, we should get something there that should offer us an opportunity to get in and to participate. At the very least, what would we be expecting? At the very least, what would we be expecting, right? We have a decompletion, right? We have a pattern completion, okay? We're expecting an overall pretty deep correction, right? Because the market overall is bullish. And we have a pattern that completes, which means the correction is likely to get deeper as there is larger exhaustion setting in, okay? So it's important to understand that, yeah, I am trading against the intraday order flow, or the order flow that's emerging, and it looks like it's strengthening to the downside. But you always have to ask yourself, you always have to, ask yourself, what is it that I am trading? I am trading a pattern. Does that pattern fit the order flow? Yes, it does. It is a decompletion, and I am trading a correction of that. Okay, is there a good structure to the left that should help you find some support there? In this case, demand. The answer is yes, there is. Is there a good decompletion and ratio exhaustion? Yes, there is. There is a harmonic completion, and there's ratio exhaustion. All good things for me to take this trade long. The risk is small, the reward is good, and it's time to just wait for the rotation to come in and take place. As soon as the rotation came in right there, a little more expensive than I wanted to, but boom, without hesitation, without any further thought, I'm in. Okay. Now, the pattern here is from the low to the high, right? So break even is here, take profit is here. I was not going to take a hard profit. I was going to trail. I always trail. I try not to take a hard profit unless I'm not going to be there. And for safety reasons, I put it just slightly below because I want to make sure that the profit gets taken. And I'm not too, I don't want to use the word greedy, but I want to make sure that at the very least price tests the structure. So if the profit target is at 618, I'm not going to be there. I'm going to look for the place where the sellers came in to absorb here, and I'm just going to put my stop right around there, and not wait for price to just barely touch the 618, maybe not get filled, and then price just rolls over, and then I end up with a break even. So, keep in mind that when you are going to set a profit target and you're not going to be at your computer, for price sake, look at the chart, look to the left, look at where the sellers are, and that's the area where that the sellers are probably going to come in to defend. So why not just take the profit there? How much are you willing to give back for an extra 5 or 6 points? Okay, makes no sense. Well, anyway, I'm in here. Okay, and initially the trade gave me some trouble, right? Initially it looked very good, and then we had this big ugly candle here to the downside, and then it looked like the buyers were trying. Every time the buyers came in, the sellers came in to reabsorb. Didn't look good for a while there. I thought I was going to be taken out. And eventually price did end up cooperating a little bit here, and then we started getting up there. I got to a break even on the rules here, okay, and now it's getting time where I have to step out. I have to take care of some things in the afternoon, and what I did was I decided to as price started getting closer and closer to the time where I have to leave, I started trailing. I was expecting this area to hold. When you look left here, remember I always look at my trades and see the overall health of my trade, right? So I looked left here, saw where the sellers were pretty good attack here, and the buyers defended. They failed to even try to defend here, but I saw that there was another width of strength here, willing to defend, another will to defend here. So I boxed this area and I'm saying, okay, if this holds, we're probably good to the profit target. If this doesn't hold, we're probably going to have a break even here. Okay, so as price came up to this area here, it was already 11:55. I really had to leave, so I started trailing on the decision candle, and I took my stop and I put it here. Okay, and sure enough, boom, right there I got triggered and I got taken out for 63 points. So another bend of the rule there, but I really had to leave, and I didn't want to leave the trade open to a break even, and the only thing I could figure out is just to get aggressive and just close the trail and see, leave my stop there, and I either made a lot more or I got taken out. So I ended up getting taken out immediately after I put my stop there. I didn't go but 2 candles, and then boom, I got taken out here. But the trade would have worked out, it went on to a profit target right here, and it probably would have taken us out somewhere around here. Would have been probably taken out at 36. So instead of 63, we could have had somewhere around 107. So another 40 something points. No big deal. Overall, a very nice trade. Little bending of rules today, particularly on the longer term account. I trailed more aggressively than I normally would, but I didn't want to give all that back, and it worked out in my favor. And that's another issue. It's important to understand that when you break a rule and it works out in your favor, that shouldn't be an empowerment for you to do that in the future. Understand that by breaking the rules, by bending rules and breaking rules and doing that consistently, you no longer have a trade plan. You're no longer trading at the expectancy that you tested and evaluated. Okay, so you can't get pissed off when the P&L is not there. It's not there because you're not following your trade plan. Okay, you're being kamikaze and rogue deciding which rules you want to follow and when, and bend them at will, and that doesn't work out. Okay? But we're all humans. We all understand it's going to happen from time to time. Just make sure that it stays from time to time and not routinely or consistently. Okay? That's a no-no. All right? Well, that's about it, guys, for today's session. I hope the post-session review had value. I know there was a question there as to why I would enter in this area when the order flow expectation was for a lower high and a new structure low. I just told you why. There was a decompletion there. Overall, the market was bullish, and there's a harmonic exhaustion. We know that the market strives for symmetry, so when we get that, you should at the very least expect some kind of a correction. I also want to talk to you about the rules here for a minute. I thought we were finished, but this is important for me to cover. Let me delete that. Let me delete this. Okay, and now we talked about the ABCD, right? And D is usually going to be against the order flow, against the expectation, right? Because you're trading a correction that should be deeper because a pattern completed. There's a higher degree of exhaustion there, which is going to lead you to a deeper correction. Okay, so the rules are as follows, right? We get to the break even of the 38% of the A to D leg, right? And then the profit target is the 618. Why do you think the break even is the 38%? Because it's the first ratio that price may respect? Yes. But if you look closely, for the most part, that 38% happens to be in the neighborhood of the 618 of the main swing, right? This one, of the current order flow. As you can see, none of this was coincidental. None of this is, all of these rules have been very carefully planned out. There's very little room for, I just put it there because I felt like it. No, everything has a reason. Everything has a methodology behind it. Everything is made to follow the ebb and flow of the market. Okay? That's why the 38% is the break even, because it's the golden ratio. Most swings, if they're going to correct, they're going to correct there. Okay, it also happens to be a pattern completion, which is going to lead you to a deeper correction. That deeper correction is what? The 618 to 786, right? Coincidental? No. Now you know something else about harmonics. Okay, that 38% is our first level and our break-even point, because it usually is, around the 618 of this C to D leg. Okay, and that'll vary slightly depending how deep the A to B leg is. I'm sorry, the B to C leg is. Will vary, but it's in the neighborhood. It's always within the golden zone of the 618 and 786. That's why we get to the break-even there, to protect our capital in case what? We get the lower high and the new structure low prior to getting to that 618. And that 618 is almost always near that C entry, somewhere in that neighborhood. Sometimes there's a slight expectation, sometimes there's an expectation failure. And when it's going to be an expectation failure, what do? We trail. Well, we always trail, but it's an even more reason to trail, because then you're probably going to get some sort of an expectation failure, or you may just fall shy of that profit target. That's why it's important to trail. All right, so now you know something about harmonics that you probably didn't know. That's why the 38% is the break even, because it's usually in and around the area of the 618 of the C to D leg. Okay, confluence. All right, guys, so tomorrow we're going to have our live stream. Tomorrow we're going to focus a lot about structure analysis, complex corrections, and order flow analysis. We're going to hone in on those two things, since that's what seems to be giving you guys the most problem from the questions that I've seen on the thread. And I'm also going to make a detailed video specifically on structure analysis and order flow analysis, and the marriage of the two, and how we use them together. But you'll see a lot of it tomorrow in the stream. We're going to focus on that. hopefully we'll have another winning day, and hopefully we'll start chipping away at the drawdown here and keep moving forward and progressing. All right, guys, I'm very happy with you guys' performance. I've been watching you guys' trades. I'm sure you guys are excited too. I think we're heading in a very, very good direction. I think it was a blessing in disguise that I decided to do this small account challenge, and that we took on some hits, and we didn't allow those hits to interfere with our process. We just keep moving along, taking the trades, following the trade plan, applying money management, and by being able to do that, your account's already in the process of recovery. And nothing. We'll see how this ends up, and hopefully we'll get an opportunity to grow this small account into a sizable account. We're going to see it through, and we're going to keep going. And I look forward to many more live streams. I look forward to these post-session little videos, which offer little nuggets here and there. But most importantly, I want you guys to ask questions and help me come up with content. What do you guys want to see? You know, what kind of videos would give you guys an aha moment that you feel you need? What are your struggles? What are you stuck with? Post them on the thread, and every week I'll pick one or two, and we'll do a special lesson around that, questions and answer, little videos like that. And along the way, we'll see things that merit a special lesson, you know, like the structure analysis and order flow analysis, and marrying the two to help you navigate through the market and have proper expectations, to have proper areas of interest. That's what those two analyses are going to do. Structure analysis tells you where the market's going. Order flow analysis helps you understand what kind of corrections and extensions you should expect. Also help you come up with a area of interest that's pretty accurate. So I'll work on that in the next couple of days. But tomorrow it's all about the live stream. So subscribe, like to all these things, comment, post, and let's keep going. Thank you very much, and good trading, guys.